America's western mountain ranges are some of the most spectacular landscapes on our planet, but they are also some of the most punishing. Imagine, if you will, towering peaks that scrape the sky, where the air is incredibly thin and the sun can feel like it's burning your skin. These mountains are defined by extremes. In winter, they are buried under meters of snow, with brutal cold temperatures that can freeze you solid. Then, in summer, the heat can be just as intense, especially in the lower valleys. Life here is a constant battle against the elements, a daily struggle for survival, where only the toughest and most adaptable creatures can make a home. It's a place of raw, untamed beauty, but one that demands respect from all who enter. These majestic giants, like the Cascades and the Rockies, stretch for thousands of miles, creating a formidable barrier that shapes the weather and the very land around them. They are not just silent stone, they are dynamic, living environments. Volcanoes rumble deep beneath the surface, toxic gases seep from hidden vents, and the threat of avalanches is ever present. For the wildlife that calls these mountains home, every day brings a new set of challenges. Finding food, water, and shelter is a full-time job. Avoiding predators, raising young, and enduring the changing seasons requires incredible resilience and a host of specialized skills that have been perfected over countless generations. This is a world where every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest predator, has carved out a niche for itself. They have developed extraordinary physical traits and behaviors to cope with the punishing conditions. Some animals have thick fur coats to insulate them from the biting cold, while others have large paws that act like snowshoes to help them move across deep drifts. Many creatures have learned to use the landscape to their advantage, finding refuge in caves, digging tunnels under the snow, or climbing to high, inaccessible ledges. It's really a testament to the power of evolution, showing how life can find a way to thrive in even the most inhospitable corners of the earth. Exploring these mountains is like stepping into another world, a place where nature is still in charge. The sheer scale of everything is breathtaking, from the enormous glaciers clinging to the peaks to the vast forests that cloak the lower slopes. It's a land of contrasts, where serene alpine meadows filled with wildflowers can exist just a stone's throw away from jagged, barren cliffs. Understanding how life persists in this vertical world gives us a profound appreciation for the tenacity and ingenuity of the animal kingdom. These mountains are not just a backdrop, they are the stage for some of the most dramatic stories of survival on our planet. Stretching from the rugged wilds of Northern California all the way into the vast expanse of Canada, the Cascade Range stands as a testament to the Earth's restless power. Beneath these towering peaks lies a fiery secret, a story written in molten rock and ash. This is no ordinary mountain range. It is a volcanic arc, a chain of 13 major volcanoes born from the collision of tectonic plates. Here, the relentless subduction of the Juan de Fuca plate beneath the North American plate fuels a deep, churning cauldron of magma, linking the Cascades to the mighty Pacific Ring of Fire. Over the past 3 centuries, 7 of these volcanic giants have erupted, sending plumes of ash and rivers of lava across the land. Each eruption is a reminder that the ground here is alive, shaped by forces that operate far beneath the surface. The landscape itself is a gallery of volcanic artistry. Conical peaks rise sharply against the sky, sculpted by countless eruptions. Valleys are filled with vast fields of hardened lava, their jagged surfaces a testament to the once molten rivers that cooled and solidified in the open air. The Cascades are a realm of constant transformation. Volcanic gases escape through steaming vents, and shifting rocks reveal the ever-changing nature of this dynamic environment. Here, the forces of creation and destruction are always at work, shaping the land in dramatic and unpredictable ways. At the southern edge of the range, the Lava Bed's National Monument emerges, a surreal landscape where ancient lava flows have frozen in time, creating a terrain that appears almost alien. Here, rivers of molten rock once surged across the earth, cooling into a rugged black expanse. The surface is fractured and sharp, a labyrinth of solidified lava that hints at the violent forces that shaped it. Beneath this forbidding surface, the most remarkable features lie hidden. Over 700 lava tube caves snake through the ground, formed when the outer crust of a lava flow hardened while the molten interior continued to drain away, leaving behind hollow tunnels. These ancient tubes, dormant for nearly a millennium, maintain a stable temperature of about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, or 13 degrees Celsius year-round. Deep within, the air is cool and still, untouched by the extremes above. The constant, cool environment of these caves stands in stark contrast to the harsh, fluctuating conditions on the surface, providing a unique microclimate within the volcanic landscape. These underground passages are more than geological curiosities. They are vital components of the volcanic ecosystem, offering shelter and stability in a world shaped by fire. During the searing heat of summer, the caves remain cool and inviting, a stark contrast to the sun-baked volcanic plains above. Within these tubes, precious pools of fresh water collect, slowly filtered through the porous volcanic rock. These hidden reservoirs are sustained by the unique properties of the landscape, where water seeps down through layers of ash and basalt. In the darkness, these underground waters become lifelines, supporting a web of life that has adapted to the cool, stable conditions below the surface. After the long, energy-intensive search for sustenance in the volcanic wilds, many creatures are drawn to the darkness of the tubes, seeking the water and shelter they provide. These caves act as natural sanctuaries, their cool interiors and hidden waters creating pockets of life in an otherwise challenging and arid volcanic world. Existence in the shadow of active volcanoes demands constant adaptation. The ever-present possibility of eruption means that life here is always on the edge, shaped by the unpredictable rhythms of the earth. Yet, the very ash and minerals ejected by these volcanoes enrich the soil, creating a foundation for lush forests and a vibrant tapestry of plant life. The volcanic earth is a paradox, both destructive and nurturing. This fertile ground supports a diverse array of life, from towering trees to the smallest mosses, all thriving in the mineral-rich environment left behind by ancient eruptions. But the threat of eruption is never far away. Ominous clouds gather, and the land can be transformed in moments by the explosive power of magma and ash. The same forces that create this rich, dynamic environment can also unleash destruction, reshaping the land in an instant and challenging all forms of life that depend on it. In the Cascades, every living thing is part of a world forged by fire, a landscape where creation and destruction are forever intertwined, and where the legacy of volcanic origins continues to shape the land, the air, and the very fabric of existence. Deep within the impenetrable darkness of the ancient lava tube caves, a remarkable nocturnal resident finds sanctuary. These caves, carved by volcanic forces over millennia, are a world of perpetual twilight, where silence reigns and shadows stretch endlessly along the cool, damp stone. The Townsend's big-eared bat, with its oversized, sensitive ears, glides effortlessly through these underground corridors. These bats rely on the labyrinthine tunnels as essential waypoints during their nightly journeys, weaving through the darkness with a grace that belies the complexity of their environment. After hours spent darting through the cool night air, hunting for elusive moths and other insects, the bats descend into the caves to quench their thirst at hidden pools of crystal-clear water. The gentle ripples on the surface are often the only sign of their presence, as they skim low to drink without ever touching down. Navigating the twisting, narrow passages demands extraordinary skill. The bats employ echolocation, sending out a rapid series of high-frequency calls that bounce off the cave walls, returning as echoes that map every nook and cranny in their minds. Their calls are so piercingly loud that for a split second they must close their ears to shield themselves from the intensity. This remarkable adaptation allows them to communicate and hunt in total darkness, their world defined by sound rather than sight. The echoes return in a symphony of information, painting a vivid mental image of the cave's contours. With this acoustic map, the bats dart and swoop at astonishing speeds, never colliding with the jagged stone that surrounds them. In the world above and below, these bats are relentless hunters. Their agility and precision make them formidable predators, snatching moths and beetles mid-flight with silent efficiency. Each night, a single Townsend's big-eared bat can devour its own weight in insects, a testament to its insatiable appetite and vital role in maintaining the delicate balance of the ecosystem. By keeping insect populations in check, these bats act as silent guardians of the forest, ensuring that no single species overwhelms the lush, interconnected web of life in the Cascades. The lava tubes offer more than just water and hunting grounds. Their stable, cool temperatures and secluded chambers provide a perfect refuge for bats to roost during the day, safe from the harsh sun and lurking predators. Here, colonies gather in quiet clusters, clinging to the stone ceilings in peaceful slumber. Within these shadowy nurseries, mothers nurture their pups, the next generation of cave dwellers. The constant climate and hidden recesses of the caves create an ideal environment for raising young, ensuring the survival of the species through the changing seasons. Above the subterranean world, the dense forests of the Cascades are home to another masterful predator, the red fox. With keen eyes and a nose attuned to the faintest scent, the fox moves silently through the undergrowth, its russet coat blending seamlessly with the dappled light of the forest floor. The red fox is a paragon of adaptability, thriving in the ever-changing landscapes of the Cascades. Here it has learned to hunt a resourceful prey, the European rabbit, a species that has established itself in the region's meadows and open fields. These rabbits, introduced long ago, have flourished by constructing vast warrens beneath the earth. Their tunnel networks can stretch for hundreds of feet, with dozens of entrances providing both escape routes and hidden chambers for safety. For the red fox, these bustling rabbit towns are a treasure trove. Patient and cunning, the fox waits at the entrances, its senses alert to the slightest movement or sound from below. Despite their name, red foxes display a remarkable range of colors, from fiery orange to deep black. Yet, all share a signature trait, a bushy tail tipped in brilliant white, a flag that signals their presence as they move through the forest. The life of a mother fox is one of constant vigilance and care. She must teach her kits the art of survival, how to stalk, listen, and pounce, passing on the skills that have allowed her kind to flourish in these wild lands. With ears attuned to the faintest rustle, the fox can detect the low, muffled sounds of rabbits moving deep within their burrows. Every twitch and tilt of her head brings her closer to her hidden quarry. When the moment is right, she springs into action, leaping high and crashing down with pinpoint accuracy, breaking through the earth to snatch her unsuspecting prey from below. At first she returns to the den with her catch, providing nourishment for her growing kits, who eagerly await her arrival at the entrance. As the kits mature, she brings back live prey, encouraging them to practice their own hunting skills. Their playful tussles are more than games. They are essential lessons, forging the next generation of agile, resourceful hunters in the wild heart of the Cascades. In the high, snowy forests of the Cascade Mountains, a small and agile predator thrives where few others can. The American pine marten, a member of the weasel family, is perfectly suited to a life in the cold. This elusive creature is a master of survival, navigating the harsh winter landscape with remarkable agility and cunning. It has a long, thin body, which isn't ideal for staying warm, so it has developed a clever strategy to survive the freezing winters. The pine marten's fur is dense and luxurious, providing essential insulation against the biting cold. The marten uses the snow itself as a blanket, creating a labyrinth of tunnels and dens beneath the surface. These subnivean corridors are a testament to its ingenuity, offering protection from predators and the elements. These subnivean corridors, along with hollowed-out logs, provide excellent insulation from the biting winds and frigid temperatures above, allowing the marten to stay active throughout the year when other animals are hibernating. The pine marten's ability to adapt to its environment is a key to its survival. The pine marten is an exceptional climber, a true acrobat of the forest canopy. Its arboreal lifestyle allows it to hunt and evade predators with ease. It has sharp, semi-retractable claws that give it a superb grip on tree bark, allowing it to move through the branches with incredible speed and agility. This dexterity is crucial for catching prey and navigating the complex forest environment. This allows it to hunt in a world that is inaccessible to many ground-dwelling predators. The pine marten's diet is diverse, including small mammals, birds, and even insects, showcasing its adaptability. It scours the treetops for birds, eggs, and its favorite prey, squirrels. The pine marten's keen senses and stealth make it a formidable hunter in its arboreal realm. Its slender body allows it to pursue squirrels into tight spaces, making it a highly effective hunter in its arboreal realm. The pine marten's role in the ecosystem is vital, controlling small mammal populations and maintaining the balance of the forest. The pine marten is a beautiful and elusive creature, a symbol of the wild, untouched forests of the high Cascades. Its presence is a testament to the health and vitality of these ancient woodlands. Another phantom of the northern forests, found at the southern end of its range here in Washington's Cascades, is the Canadian lynx. This solitary feline is a master of stealth and survival. This mysterious cat is a master of stealth, and it is perfectly adapted for hunting in deep snow. The lynx's keen senses and silent movements make it an apex predator in its snowy domain. Its most remarkable feature is its enormous furry paws. These paws are not just for show, they are a crucial adaptation for life in the snow. These paws act just like snowshoes, distributing the lynx's weight over a larger area so that it can walk silently on top of the snow instead of sinking in. This adaptation allows the lynx to move effortlessly through its snowy habitat. This gives it a huge advantage over its prey and any potential competitors. The lynx's ability to traverse the snow with ease makes it a formidable hunter. The distinctive tufts of black hair on its ears are also thought to act like antennae, amplifying the faintest sounds and helping it pinpoint the location of its next meal. The lynx's acute hearing is a vital tool in its hunting arsenal. The lynx's life is inextricably linked to that of one specific animal, the snowshoe hare. This relationship is a classic example of predator and prey dynamics in the wild. This hare is its primary food source, and the populations of lynx and hares rise and fall in a connected cycle. The lynx's survival is closely tied to the abundance of snowshoe hares. The snowshoe hare is also a master of camouflage, with a brown coat in the summer that turns pure white in the winter, making it nearly invisible against the snowy backdrop. This seasonal change in fur color is a crucial survival strategy. Like the lynx, it has large hind feet that allow it to bound across the snow with ease. The snowshoe hare's agility and speed are its primary defenses against predators. The hunt between the lynx and the hare is a silent, deadly dance in the snow, a classic drama of predator and prey playing out in the quiet solitude of the winter forest. This timeless struggle is a testament to the delicate balance of nature in the Cascade Mountains. The Cascade Range is a realm of ceaseless transformation, where the forces of fire and ice shape the land in a perpetual cycle. Among its most dramatic features stands Mount St. Helens, a volcano whose story is written in layers of ash, lava, and stone. In the spring of 1980, Mount St. Helens unleashed a cataclysmic eruption, sending a towering plume of ash skyward and altering the landscape in an instant. The force of the eruption was so immense that it removed over 1,300 feet from the summit, leaving behind a vast, gaping crater. A lateral blast of superheated gas, ash, and rock surged outward at over 600 miles per hour, reshaping the surrounding terrain in a matter of moments. The blast swept across the land, flattening 230 square miles of ancient forest, toppling trees and scouring the earth. In the aftermath, a barren, ashen wasteland stretched for miles, the ground cloaked in volcanic debris, silent and seemingly lifeless. Yet, even in this desolation, the forces of renewal began their quiet work. Green shoots emerged from the ash, signaling the first stirrings of recovery. Over the decades, the slopes of Mount St. Helens have witnessed a remarkable transformation as life steadily reclaimed the land. The once grey ash has gradually yielded to a vibrant tapestry of green as plants and grasses spread across the volcanic soil. Wildflowers, resilient and tenacious, were among the first to flourish, their seeds carried by the wind or hidden deep within the earth, waiting for the right moment to bloom. Their blossoms brought colour and sustenance, drawing insects and birds, and gradually the intricate web of life began to weave itself anew across the slopes. The area surrounding Mount St. Helens now stands as a testament to the relentless power of natural forces, destruction giving way to renewal, and devastation transformed into a thriving ecosystem. To the north, Mount Rainier rises in silent majesty, its massive form dominating the horizon and casting a long shadow over the Cascade Range. At 14,410 feet, Mount Rainier is the highest peak in the Cascades, its summit crowned with snow and ice. Unlike its neighbour, Mount Rainier's conical summit remains unbroken, sheathed in more than 24 glaciers that glint in the sunlight. This colossal ice-clad volcano commands the skyline for hundreds of miles, its presence both formidable and serene. The immense glaciers and snowfields that cloak Mount Rainier act as reservoirs, storing winter's bounty and releasing it as meltwater during the warmer months. This abundance of water gives rise to countless streams, rivers, and waterfalls, their ceaseless flow carving deep valleys and nourishing the land below. The glaciers themselves are in constant, slow-motion movement, grinding over volcanic rock, sculpting the mountain's flanks, and shaping the landscape with every passing year. As the ice melts, torrents of water cascade down the slopes, feeding a vast network of waterways that sustain the region's rich diversity of life. The meltwater breathes life into alpine meadows, where wildflowers bloom in profusion, and into dense forests that cloak the lower slopes in deep green. Mount Rainier, a sleeping giant, stands as a symbol of the enduring interplay between water, ice, and stone, a landscape shaped by ancient eruptions, glacial sculpting, and the timeless rhythms of the earth. Stretching an astonishing 3,000 miles from the frozen, wind-swept wilds of northern Canada all the way to the sun-baked plateaus of New Mexico, the Rocky Mountains rise as a monumental spine of ice and stone, sculpting the very heart of North America. Here the mountains are so immense that they summon their own weather. Clouds swirl and break against jagged summits, snow squalls sweep across the ridges, and storms are born in the shadow of ancient peaks. The Rockies dominate the landscape, their colossal forms carving out valleys, canyons, and high plateaus, shaping the land for thousands of square miles. In Colorado, the mountains soar above the tree line, their summits crowned with snow and ice, standing as silent sentinels in a world where the air is thin and the cold is ever present. At these heights, relentless winds sculpt the snow into sweeping cornices and deep drifts, reshaping the landscape with every storm. Winters here are merciless. Blizzards rage, burying the land beneath layers of snow that can reach over 50 feet deep, entombing valleys and slopes in a silent, icy shroud that endures for months. Glaciers, ancient rivers of ice, inch their way down the mountainsides, grinding rock beneath them, carving deep U-shaped valleys and leaving behind moraines, vast ridges of stone and debris. Temperatures plunge far below freezing, the air so cold that moisture crystallizes instantly, coating every surface in delicate frost. Alpine lakes freeze into intricate mosaics of ice, and waterfalls become frozen sculptures, suspended in time by the relentless chill. The mountains themselves are shaped by the ceaseless forces of freeze and thaw. Water seeps into cracks, freezes and expands, shattering stone and sending boulders tumbling down the slopes. At the base of cliffs, talus slopes and scree fields grow, vast accumulations of shattered rock, evidence of the mountain's slow, patient erosion. Glacial forces have sculpted the land into dramatic forms, cirques, amphitheatre-like basins gouged by ice, and arêtes, razor-sharp ridges that divide valleys. Hanging valleys perch above the main canyons, their floors often cradling turquoise glacial lakes, cold and clear, fed by the slow melt of ancient ice. Avalanches thunder down steep slopes, a sudden release of snow and rock, reshaping the land in moments and reminding all of the raw power that rules this realm. Even at the smallest scale, the world here is a marvel. Snowflakes interlock to form dense, shifting layers, while ice crystals grow in silent, crystalline forests beneath the snow. Beneath the glaciers, meltwater carves hidden tunnels and blue-lit ice caves, channels for the slow, unseen movement of water and stone. As winter loosens its grip, the snow and ice begin to melt, unleashing torrents of water that surge down the mountainsides, scouring rock and feeding rivers far below. These meltwaters carve braided channels through the valleys, carrying silt and gravel, reshaping the land with every passing season. As the snow recedes, alpine meadows emerge, and the first hardy mosses and lichens begin to colonize the bare rock, pioneers in a world shaped by ice. In sheltered crevices, wildflowers burst into bloom, their colors vivid against the grey stone, a fleeting celebration of warmth and light. The landscape transforms, glacial valleys fill with light, and the peaks stand revealed, their forms etched by eons of wind, water, and ice. The contrast between the silent, frozen world of winter and the vibrant, rushing energy of spring is stark, a testament to the cycles that govern this wild domain. Here, the seasons are dramatic, each one leaving its mark on the land, each one a chapter in the ongoing story of ice and stone. The Rockies are a place of breathtaking, untamed beauty, where storms rage, cliffs tower, and the forces of nature are on full display. The geography is endlessly varied, from serrated, ice-carved summits to gentle foothills that roll away into the distance. Jagged peaks rise above ancient glaciers, while below, broad valleys and parks open up, shaped by the slow work of ice and water. These wide open valleys, known as parks, are remnants of glacial lakes and ancient floodplains, bordered by walls of stone. Above, the alpine tundra stretches to the horizon, a treeless expanse where only the hardiest plants cling to life, battered by wind and cold. From valley floor to summit, the Rockies are a vertical world, a tapestry of interconnected ecosystems, each shaped by altitude, temperature, and the relentless forces of geology. Every ridge, every basin, every glacier tells a story of ancient upheaval and ongoing transformation, a world forever shaped by the interplay of ice, stone, and time. To witness the Rockies is to stand in awe of nature's artistry, where the raw power of ice and stone has crafted a realm of unparalleled majesty. As autumn descends upon the vast expanse of the Rocky Mountains, the black bear is gripped by an ancient urgency. The crisp air is thick with the scent of fallen leaves and ripening berries, signaling the final, frantic chapter before the long sleep of winter. Driven by instinct, the black bear scours the forest floor, its nose twitching as it seeks out every last calorie. The coming winter is relentless, and only those who prepare will endure its icy grip. Each day, the bear must devour up to 20,000 calories, an astonishing feat that demands constant foraging. Berries, nuts, roots, and the occasional insect are consumed with single-minded intensity, fueling a rapid transformation. With every mouthful, the bear's body thickens, layers of fat accumulating beneath its fur. This precious reserve is more than just insulation, it is the very essence of survival, a living storehouse that will sustain the bear through the darkest months. When the first snows fall and the world grows silent, the bear retreats to its den. Here, in a cocoon of earth and leaves, it surrenders to hibernation. For 5 months the bear will not eat, drink, or even wake, relying entirely on its fat stores. By spring it may have lost nearly 40% of its body weight, emerging lean but alive. Yet while the bear slumbers, another formidable presence prowls the winter wilderness, the mountain lion. Cloaked in tawny fur, this silent hunter is undeterred by snow or cold. The mountain lion is a master of stealth and patience. Without a permanent den, it seeks vantage points high above the forest floor, rocky ledges and sturdy branches, where it can survey its vast domain and watch for the faintest sign of movement. A single female may roam a territory spanning 200 square miles. Her sense is finely tuned to the rhythms of the wild. Every step is measured, every sound analyzed, as she searches for prey across the snow-blanketed landscape. Agile and powerful, the mountain lion can bring down animals many times its own size. Elk, deer, and bighorn sheep are all within its reach, each hunter test of skill and endurance. A successful kill is a lifeline, providing vital nourishment in a world where hunger is a constant threat. But the mountain lion is not wasteful. If the hunt yields more than can be eaten at once, a clever strategy unfolds. The biting cold of the Rockies becomes an ally, preserving fresh meat beneath a blanket of snow. The landscape itself becomes a natural larder. Unable to consume an entire carcass in one sitting, the mountain lion drags its prize to a secluded spot, hidden from scavengers and rival predators. With powerful paws, it covers the remains with snow and debris, concealing the cache from prying eyes and hungry noses. This hidden cache remains untouched for days or even weeks, the cold preserving the meat and ensuring a steady supply of food through the leanest times. The mountain lion returns again and again, feeding in secret, its survival secured by cunning and adaptability. In the harshest months, this strategy is the difference between life and death. Every movement, every decision reveals the intelligence and resilience of this elusive predator, perfectly attuned to the rhythms of the wild. But not all creatures rely on strength or size to endure the winter. In the high, wind-swept reaches above the tree line, the white-tailed ptarmigan employs a different tactic, one of invisibility. This small, hardy bird makes its home where few others dare, braving fierce winds and biting cold. Its secret weapon is camouflage, a masterful adaptation to its unforgiving world. In summer, the ptarmigan's feathers are a patchwork of brown and grey, blending seamlessly with the rocky tundra and sparse vegetation. Predators searching for a meal are often fooled by this living illusion. As the seasons shift and snow blankets the mountains, the ptarmigan undergoes a remarkable transformation. Its plumage turns pure white, rendering it nearly invisible against the frozen landscape. This perfect disguise thwarts the sharp eyes of eagles and foxes, allowing the ptarmigan to move, feed, and rest with relative safety even in the open. Sustained by pine needles and willow buds, the ptarmigan endures the harshest alpine storms. Its resilience and adaptability are a testament to the ingenuity of life in the wild, where every creature must find its own way to survive. As the spring sun melts the heavy winter snows, a transformation begins in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. The sound of rushing water fills the valleys as streams swell and rivers surge with new life. For one of nature's most industrious engineers, the beaver, this is a call to action. The beaver, a master architect, responds instinctively to the changing rhythms of the season. The surge of meltwater signals that it's time to get to work, and the beaver wastes no time. A male beaver can labor for up to 12 hours a day, driven by instinct and necessity. With powerful, ever-growing teeth, he fells trees and saplings, selecting each branch with purpose. He drags heavy logs and branches through the water, undeterred by obstacles or distance. Using a blend of sticks, mud and stones, the beaver constructs a dam, an engineering marvel that alters the very landscape. This is no idle pastime. The dam is a vital survival strategy, transforming fast-flowing streams into tranquil ponds that shelter the beaver's family. The dam's purpose is to create a pond, a safe aquatic haven in the midst of the wild. By blocking the stream, the beaver raises the water level, flooding the area behind the dam. The result is a deep, still pond, a mirror to the sky and a sanctuary for countless creatures. At the heart of this pond lies the beaver lodge, its entrance hidden beneath the water's surface, a fortress against predators. The lodge, surrounded by water, shields the beaver family from land-based hunters like bears and coyotes, who prowl the edges in vain. The underwater entrance is a masterstroke of design, allowing the beavers to slip in and out unseen, safe from danger. The expanded pond also grants the beavers safer access to a wider range of trees along the shoreline, their primary source of food and building material. They strip bark for nourishment and gather wood for construction, always working, always shaping their world. The beavers' relentless efforts create lush wetlands teeming with life. These engineered habitats support a rich diversity of species. Fish dart through the clear waters, frogs bask on lily pads, and ducklings paddle in safety, while moose graze on the abundant vegetation. Beavers, working in concert, are true ecosystem engineers, their influence rippling outward to benefit countless others. As autumn descends and golden hues sweep the high country, another drama unfolds, one of raw power and fierce competition. The first snows trigger the annual rut for bighorn sheep, drawing rams together for a contest of strength and endurance. The rams, with their massive, spiraling horns, are nature's gladiators, each vying for the right to pass on his genes. They engage in spectacular battles, clashing with thunderous force on rocky slopes. Each collision is a test of power, stamina, and resilience echoing through the mountains. Rams weighing up to 300 pounds size each other up before charging at speeds of 20 miles per hour. The impact is immense, their horns absorbing the shock, their bodies built for this brutal contest. The crash of horns reverberates for miles, a testament to the raw energy of the wild. These battles are not to the death, but to establish dominance. The victor earns the right to mate, the loser retreats to recover. The violence is real, but so is the resilience. Rams possess double-layered skulls and enlarged sinuses, natural shock absorbers that protect their brains. Their anatomy is a marvel of evolutionary engineering, honed for survival in the harshest conditions. The horns themselves can weigh up to 30 pounds, a heavy burden and a badge of honor. Each clash is a feat of endurance, sometimes repeated dozens of times in a single contest. The strongest, most persistent ram prevails, earning the right to sire the next generation. In this way, only the fittest genes are passed on, shaping the future of the herd. But the mountains are home to another fierce fighter, one rarely seen but always felt, the wolverine. The wolverine, a solitary and elusive predator, roams vast territories, undaunted by snow or steep terrain. With powerful jaws and immense strength for its size, the wolverine can take down prey much larger than itself and scavenge what others leave behind. It caches food for lean times, climbing trees or digging deep into the snow to hide its treasures from other predators. Fiercely territorial, the wolverine marks its range with scent, patrolling relentlessly, a shadow in the wilderness. Occasionally, the paths of these fierce fighters and ingenious engineers cross. Wolverines may investigate beaver ponds, searching for food or opportunity, yet each animal, in its own way, shapes the land, beaver by building, wolverine by roaming and hunting, both leaving indelible marks on the wild. In these mountains, the drama of survival plays out in countless forms, with no human presence to disturb the ancient rhythms. The defeated retreat, the victors endure, and the cycle continues, season after season. The strongest genes are passed on, the wetlands flourish, and the wild remains untamed, a testament to nature's engineers and fierce fighters. Here, in the heart of the mountains, life endures and evolves, shaped by the tireless work and relentless spirit of its wild inhabitants. The Rocky Mountains are more than a chain of towering peaks. They are architects of a world defined by extremes, sculpting the land and shaping the climate for miles beyond their rugged summits. Their influence carves out a tapestry of environments, each more surprising than the last, where the drama of nature unfolds in spectacular fashion. Nestled within Colorado's San Luis Valley lies a marvel of contrasts, Great Sand Dunes National Park. Here, the landscape transforms from alpine heights to a vast, shimmering sea of sand, creating one of the continent's most surreal environments. For thousands of years, relentless winds have swept across the valley, gathering grains of sand and piling them at the foot of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. The result is a sprawling expanse of dunes, the tallest in North America, rising like golden waves against the mountain backdrop. In the heart of summer, this landscape becomes a crucible of heat. The sand's surface can reach a blistering 150 degrees Fahrenheit or 65 degrees Celsius, shimmering with thermal energy beneath the relentless sun. This is a place where the mountains give birth to a desert, where shifting sands and searing temperatures create a world of extremes, an ever-changing wilderness sculpted by wind and sun. Yet even in this harsh environment, life finds a way. The dunes are etched with delicate tracks, evidence of creatures uniquely adapted to survive in this sea of sand. Among the most remarkable is the great sand dune tiger beetle, a dazzling predator found nowhere else on Earth, its metallic sheen glinting in the sunlight as it patrols its sandy domain. This tiny hunter has evolved long, spindly legs that lift its body high above the scorching sand, allowing it to dart across the dunes in pursuit of prey while staying cool in the furnace-like heat. The beetle's story begins beneath the surface, where its larva lies in wait, hidden from the sun's intensity. Deep in the sand, the larva constructs a vertical burrow, anchoring itself with specialized hooks. Patient and unseen, it waits at the entrance, ready to ambush unsuspecting insects that wander too close. These adaptations are a testament to the resilience of life, thriving in a world where only the most specialized can endure. But the extremes of this landscape are not limited to heat and sand. Each spring, a dramatic transformation sweeps across the San Luis Valley. As snow melts from the surrounding mountains, water floods the valley floor, giving rise to a vast ephemeral wetland, sometimes spanning an area as large as 11,000 football fields. This fleeting oasis, especially within the Monte Vista Wildlife Refuge, becomes a sanctuary for countless creatures, a vital link in the web of life shaped by the mountain's seasonal rhythms. Among the most spectacular visitors are the sandhill cranes, over 23,000 strong, each standing 4 feet tall, their wings stretching 6 feet wide, gathering in the shallows at dawn. Here they pause to rest and feed, replenishing their strength for the long journey north to distant nesting grounds. The air fills with the resonant calls of thousands of cranes, their synchronized movements painting the sky with a living tapestry, a spectacle of sound and motion that echoes across the valley. For the younger cranes, the wetlands become a stage for playful leaps and dances, a place to practice the rituals that will one day shape their future. Here, pairs form bonds through intricate displays, touching beaks, mirroring movements, and sharing moments of connection in the shallow water. Their courtship is a dance of elegance and precision, with graceful leaps, wing flaps, and synchronized steps, a celebration of life and partnership in the wild. Once a pair is formed, their bond endures, a partnership that weathers the challenges of migration and the changing seasons. Together, they journey north, and when autumn returns, they bring their new offspring back to the valley, continuing the ancient cycle. In this land of extremes, where mountains give rise to deserts and wetlands, every season brings renewal and challenge. The intricate dance between the high peaks and the valleys below is a testament to the power and beauty of nature's design, a world where survival is an art, and every creature plays its part in the grand story of the wild. Gap 2s high above the tree line, where the world narrows to a realm of wind and stone, lie the hidden jewels of the Rockies, the Alpine lakes. Cradled in ancient cirques carved by vanished glaciers, these shimmering pools are mirrors to the sky, silent, pristine, and untouched by the footprints of humankind. Here, in the thin air and relentless cold, life has carved out its own fragile paradise. Beneath the surface, crystal-clear waters reveal a world of astonishing clarity. Tiny invertebrates, phantom midges, water boatmen, and fairy shrimp drift in the sunlit shallows, their delicate forms suspended in a dance as old as the mountains themselves. Trout, sleek and wary, patrol the depths, their scales flashing silver and gold as they dart among submerged boulders and stands of waving pondweed. These fish are the silent sentinels of the lakes, perfectly attuned to the rhythms of ice and thaw. At the water's edge, clusters of alpine buttercups and glacier lilies bloom in defiance of the short, fierce summer. Their blossoms open wide to capture every ray of the fleeting sun, while their roots cling to the thin, stony soil. Mosses and lichens, ancient pioneers, blanket the rocks with intricate patterns of green and silver, their symbiotic partnerships allowing them to thrive where little else can. Amid the reeds and sedges, the chorus of life continues. Tiny chorus frogs, their skin mottled and cool, emerge from hiding to fill the air with their trilling calls. Dragonflies, iridescent and agile, skim the water's surface, hunting for prey with acrobatic precision. Overhead, a pair of Clark's nutcrackers wheel and call, their sharp eyes ever watchful for seeds to cache among the rocks. The lakes themselves are ever changing. In spring, meltwater from the surrounding peaks pours into the basins, stirring up nutrients and sparking a brief explosion of growth. By midsummer, the water warms just enough to awaken a hidden tapestry of microscopic life, algae and plankton, the foundation of the alpine food web. Each autumn, as the days shorten and the air grows crisp, the lakes begin to freeze, locking their secrets beneath a sheet of ice that will not melt for months. Yet even in the harshest winters, life persists. Beneath the frozen surface, oxygen-rich water sustains the invertebrates and fish, while the seeds of wildflowers lie dormant beneath the snow, waiting for the return of warmth. The cycle of life here is measured in moments of abundance and long stretches of endurance, a delicate balance maintained by the purity and isolation of these mountain sanctuaries. Hidden from view, the alpine lakes are sanctuaries of resilience and adaptation, where every species is a master of survival in a world shaped by cold and light. Here, untouched by human hands, nature writes its own story, a tale of beauty, struggle, and quiet triumph held in the heart of the mountains. At the foot of the towering peaks, where the mountain's shadow stretches long and cool, lies a world as old as time itself, the ancient forests. Here, the air is thick with the scent of moss and earth, and sunlight filters through a cathedral of towering trees, dappling the forest floor in shifting patterns of gold and green. Giant conifers, Douglas firs, western hemlocks, and ancient cedars rise skyward, their trunks wrapped in velvet cloaks of lichen and their branches draped with trailing moss. Some trees have stood for centuries, weathering storms, fires, and cycles of growth and decay. Beneath their vast canopies, layers of life unfold in a complex tapestry. Ferns unfurl in the dim understory, their fronds arching gracefully over carpets of club moss and delicate wildflowers. Fallen logs, soft with rot, serve as nurseries for new seedlings, mushrooms, and armies of industrious beetles. This is a realm of constant transformation. Leaves decompose into rich humus, feeding the roots of giants. Rotting wood teems with fungi, whose invisible threads knit the soil together and connect tree to tree in a silent subterranean network. Squirrels and chipmunks dart among the branches, their movements swift and purposeful, while salamanders and shrews make secretive journeys beneath the leaf litter. Birdsong fills the air at dawn, each note a thread in the fabric of the forest. Warblers flit from branch to branch, searching for insects hidden in bark crevices. Owls, silent and watchful, doze in the cool shadows, waiting for dusk to begin their nightly hunt. In the thicker groves, the haunting calls of thrushes echo, mingling with the soft rustle of wind in the needles. Seasons bring endless change. In spring, the forest awakens, leaves unfurling in a green explosion as sap rises and buds burst open. Summer sees a riot of growth as vines climb and flowers bloom in the fleeting warmth. Autumn paints the undergrowth in hues of gold, amber, and crimson, while the trees drop their needles and leaves to blanket the earth below. Winter hushes the forest, shrouding it in mist and frost, preserving life in quiet dormancy until the cycle begins anew. Every inhabitant plays a part in this ancient dance. Insects pollinate blossoms and break down fallen wood. Fungi recycle nutrients, ensuring the forest's endless renewal. Predators keep populations in balance, while scavengers return life to the soil. Here in the shadowed realms at the mountain's base, the ancient forest endures, an intricate web of life woven over countless generations, where every moment is shaped by the rhythms of growth, decay, and rebirth. High above the valley floors, the mountain world is transformed by the turning of the seasons, a silent symphony of change that shapes every living thing. Spring arrives with a cautious touch, melting snow in silvery trickles that carve new paths down rocky slopes. Patches of bare earth emerge, dotted with the first brave wildflowers, glacier lilies and phlox, their petals opening to greet the pale sunlight. As the days lengthen, alpine meadows awaken in a sudden burst of colour. Marmots emerge from months of hibernation, blinking in the bright air, while flocks of mountain bluebirds return, their plumage flashing against lingering drifts of snow. By summer, the high country is alive with motion. Waterfalls thunder with the rush of melting ice, feeding crystal-clear streams that braid across grassy flats. Herds of elk and mountain goats climb to cooler elevations, grazing on tender shoots and delicate mosses that thrive in the brief warmth. Butterflies dance above the tundra, and ptarmigan chicks scurry through the undergrowth, perfectly camouflaged against the lichen and stone. Above it all, golden eagles circle on rising thermals, scanning for movement far below. As autumn approaches, the mountains don a new attire. Meadows blaze with the gold of alpine larch and the crimson of berry bushes, while the first chills of frost edge the nights. Many creatures prepare for the coming cold. Pikas gather mouthfuls of grass, storing them in secret hay piles beneath boulders. Bears descend to lower slopes, feasting on late berries and roots to build fat reserves for the long sleep ahead. Migratory birds, sensing the shift, launch into the sky. Warblers, tanagers, and swallows bound for distant, warmer lands. Winter brings silence and endurance. Snow blankets the peaks and valleys, muffling every sound and concealing the world beneath a seamless white. Most animals retreat to dens or burrows, their hearts slowing to conserve energy. Only the hardiest remain visible, snowshoe hares, their coats turned ghostly white, bound through the drifts, while lynx and weasels follow in silent pursuit. Hardy conifers bend beneath the weight of snow, their needles coated in ice, while beneath the frozen surface, roots and seeds wait in patience for the return of light. In these mountains, the seasons are not just a passage of time, but a cycle of transformation, a test of resilience and adaptation. Every plant, every animal, is shaped by this eternal rhythm, their lives woven into the fabric of the land. Here, change is the only constant, and survival is a story written anew with every sunrise, snowfall, and spring thaw. Beneath the silent peaks, rivers awaken. Born from melting snows and ancient glaciers, their courses etched into the rugged bones of the mountains. These restless waters are sculptors and lifeblood, carving deep valleys and chasms with a patient force that outlasts ages. Over millennia, torrents of water grind stone to sand, shaping jagged cliffs and smooth winding canyons. Waterfalls thunder from dizzying heights, their mist nourishing mosses and lichens that cling to the sheer rock, painting each surface with a tapestry of green and gold. As rivers wind through the Alpine landscape, they create a mosaic of habitats. In their swift, icy currents, trout and sculpin dart between stones, while mayfly larvae and caddisflies cling to submerged logs. Pools gather at the foot of cascades, their calm surfaces reflecting the sky and offering sanctuary to amphibians and insects. On gravel bars and silty banks, willows and alders take root, stabilizing the soil and providing shelter for nesting birds and browsing elk. The constant movement of water transports nutrients and seeds across great distances. Fallen leaves and pine needles swept from the forest floor become food for aquatic life, fueling a complex web that nourishes everything from tiny invertebrates to the great bears who roam the lower slopes. Even in the heart of drought, the rivers persist, cold, clear and relentless, sustaining pockets of life where none should exist. Waterfalls, too, are more than just spectacle. They create barriers that protect rare fish from downstream predators, while their spray-fed microclimates harbor ferns and wildflowers found nowhere else. The roar of falling water muffles all other sounds, creating hidden worlds where salamanders thrive in perpetual mist. Over time, these rivers and falls shape not just the land, but the very possibilities of life. They carve passageways through stone, connect isolated woodlands, and replenish the alpine meadows that bloom each spring. Here, the work of water is never finished. It is a force both gentle and immense, sculpting the mountains and sustaining every living thing that calls them home. High above the valleys, where the air thins and the world grows silent, exist creatures found nowhere else on Earth. These rare and endemic species are the living treasures of the mountains, testaments to both the isolation and the relentless challenges of this rugged domain. Among the broken crags and wind-scoured ridges, the cascade golden-mantled ground squirrel scurries, its fur tinged with a subtle golden hue. Unlike its lowland cousins, this nimble survivor has evolved dense, insulating fur and a remarkable tolerance for cold. Through the long winter it slips into deep torpor, its heart slowing to a near pause as it waits for the brief alpine summer. In mossy crevices, the cascade torrent salamander finds its refuge. No larger than a finger, its skin must remain moist at all times, a challenge in the thin, dry air. This amphibian spends its life beside icy mountain streams, breathing through its delicate skin and blending seamlessly with the emerald mosses and lichens. Its eggs, hidden beneath stones, hatch into larvae that cling to life in swift, freezing water. On windswept slopes, the Olympic marmot stands sentinel. Its whistles echo through the meadows, a language all its own. These marmots live only in select mountain ranges, carving elaborate burrows in volcanic soil. Their thick coats and communal huddles help them endure blizzards, while their keen senses warn of silent predators overhead. The white-bark pine, twisted and ancient, rises from rocky ledges, its seeds a lifeline for Clark's nutcracker, a bird as clever as it is hardy. The nutcracker buries thousands of seeds each year, many forgotten, allowing new pines to take root in impossible places. Together, tree and bird shape the high mountain forests, each dependent on the other for survival. In alpine meadows, the cascade butterfly flutters, a flash of blue and silver. Its wings are edged with tiny scales that absorb sunlight, warming its fragile body in the chill air. Its caterpillars, feed only on a single, rare wildflower, thriving in places too remote for most pollinators to reach. Each of these species has written its own story of survival. They endure by becoming specialists, adapting to cold, scarcity, and isolation. Some hide away for months, others move in synchrony with the seasons, and a few rely on intricate partnerships with the plants and animals around them. In the silence of the mountains, these hidden originals persist, fragile, resilient, and utterly unique. Their existence is a reminder that even in the harshest places, life finds a way not just to survive, but to create wonders found nowhere else on Earth.